Welcome to Ocean Heights Presbyterian Church. Come in. There's room for you, just the way you are. Come into this space on this longest night of the year. And let us offer each other help and hope and comfort. Psalm 18:28 provides us perspective this night. It is you who lights my lamp. Yahweh, my God, lights up the darkness. I want to share a short story about a couple with you. This exchange between them helps me to better understand nights like this. Listen. One warm evening years ago, after spending nearly every waking minute with Angel for 8 straight days, I knew that I wanted to tell him just one thing. So late at night, just before he fell asleep, I whispered in his ear. He smiled back, the kind of smile that makes me smile back, and said, "When I'm 75 and I think about my life and what it was like to be young, I hope I can remember this very moment." A few seconds later, he closed his eyes and fell asleep. The room was peaceful, almost silent. All I could hear was the soft purr of his breathing. I stayed awake thinking about that time we'd spent together and all the choices in our lives that made this moment possible. And at the same time, I realized that it didn't matter what we'd done or where we'd gone, nor did the future hold any significance. All that mattered was the serenity of that moment. We are here tonight because we come with a history. We come with all kinds of stories and emotions. We're tempted to believe in the rush of these holidays that merry and happy and joy are the only emotions we are supposed to feel, but that's just not the reality. Emotions are not something we can schedule. They just happen. And after this very long year with COVID and all of the political strife, it seems wise for us to pause on this longest night of the year and to simply take a moment together, to breathe in together, to hope together, to feel what we are feeling together. So, dear ones, come just the way you are. And together we seek wisdom and calm and peace. Together we'll say out loud on this longest night what is on our hearts. Together we'll carry each other's stories. We will share the burden and the weight of the difficult stories that fill our memories and the present ones that we're holding right now. We will also hold on to hope. You hold on to hope for me, and I'll hold on hope for you, and we will do that together. Together we'll live into something better, no matter how long or dark this night or any other night might be. If you received or downloaded the call to worship tonight, I invite you to have that available, and we will speak these words together. It will allow some moments, short moments of silence as well. Join me. Even as things get darker, the light of Christ comes. We feel the isolation that has come with the pandemic. Even as things get darker, the light of Christ comes. We mourn the inability to be with family. Even as things get darker, the light of Christ comes. We grieve the losses experienced this year. People we have loved, celebrations we have missed, travel that has been canceled, and freedom to move about and simply be. Even as things get darker, the light of Christ comes. I've discovered during times of grief and angst and trouble that words really matter. The words we speak and the words we hear. Recently, I encountered some new meanings to some familiar words that we often use, and tonight I wanted to share those 5 words that I heard talked about on the On Being radio show. I wanted to share these because they help us to encounter these familiar words in different ways. I found the descriptions helpful and comfortable and hopeful and encouraging. So open yourself to hearing with new understanding. I'll read the word and pause for just a few seconds to let you take that word in, and then I'll share the description. Let us begin the journey. Hospitality. Hospitality is a bridge to all the great virtues, but it is immediately accessible. You don't have to love or forgive or feel compassion to extend hospitality. But it's more than an invitation. It is the creation of an inviting, trustworthy space, an atmosphere as much as a place. It shapes the experience to follow. It creates the intention, the spirit, and the boundaries for what is possible. As creatures, it seems we imagine an homogeneity in other groups that we know not to be in our own. But new social realities are brought into being over time by a quality of relationship between unlikely combinations of people. When in doubt, practice hospitality. How can you be hospitable to yourself? How do you invite others into hospitality? Humility. Humility is a companion to curiosity, surprise, and delight. Spiritual humility is not about getting small. It's about encouraging others to be big. It's not about debasing oneself, but about approaching everything and everyone with a readiness to be surprised and delighted. This is the humility of the child. It is the humility in the spirituality of scientists and the mystic, to be planted in what you know while living expectantly for discoveries yet to come. The wisest people carry a humility that manifests as tenderness in a creative interplay with power. Humility is not about getting small. It's about encouraging others to be big. How can you live into humility? What is the risk and the gift of encouraging others to be big? Patience. Like humility, patience is not to be mistaken for meekness and ineffectuality. It can be the fruit of a full-on reckoning with reality, a commitment to move through the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. A spiritual view of time is a long view of time, seasonal and cyclical, resistant to the illusion of time as a bully, time as a matter of deadlines. Human transformation takes time, longer than we want it to be, but it is what is necessary for social transformation. A long, patient view of time will replenish our sense of our capacities and our hope for the world. Patience is moving through the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. How do you let go of what you wish to be and gain the patience to move in the world as it is? Generous listening. Listening is an everyday art and virtue, but it's an art we have lost and must learn anew. Listening's more than being quiet while others have something to say. It is about our presence as much as receiving. It is about connection more than observing. Real listening is powered by curiosity. It involves vulnerability, a willingness to be surprised, to let go of assumptions, and to take in ambiguity. It is never in gotcha mode. The generous listener wants to understand the humanity behind the words of the other and patiently summons one's own best self and one's own most generous words and questions. What will happen if we are vulnerable enough to be curious? What will we hear? What will we experience? adventurous civility. The adventure of civility for our time can't be a mere matter of politeness or niceness. Adventurous civility honors the difficulty of what we face and the complexity of what it means to be human. It doesn't celebrate diversity by putting it on a pedestal and ignoring its messiness and its depth. The intimate and civilizational questions that perplex and divide us will not be resolved quickly. Civility in our world of change is about creating new possibilities for living forward while being different and even continuing to hold profound disagreement. Civility is not the absence of mess. Civility recognizes complexity and creates possibility. If we live into the real meaning of civility, all the lines we've drawn in the sand would fade. Power would shift, enough so that what we say is impossible may become possible. My friends, take these words. Be aware of the words you speak. Listen to the words you hear. Together, let us live into hope and possibility and newness. Let us trust that Christ's light will fill all the darkness that we know and have experienced, and go with this blessing tonight. All throughout these months, as the shadows have lengthened, this blessing has been gathering itself, making ready, preparing for this night. It has practiced walking in the dark, traveling with its eyes closed, feeling its way by memory, by touch, by the pull of the moon, even as it wanes. So believe me when I tell you, this blessing will reach you, even if you have not light enough to read it. It will find you, even though you cannot see it coming. You will know the moment of its arriving by your release of the breath you have held for so long, a loosening of the clenching of your hands, or the clutch around your heart, a thinning of the darkness that had drawn itself around you. This blessing does not mean to take the night away, but it knows its hidden roads. It knows the resting spots along the path. It knows what it means to travel in the company of a friend. So when this blessing comes, take its hand, get up, set out on the road you cannot see. This is the night when you can trust that any direction you go, you will be walking toward the dawn. Blessings be with you, dear ones. Blessings on this longest night. For Christ's light is here, even in the darkness. Amen.